Like Julie.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's take a moment of silence. Let's think about the importance of our work here tonight, but not ourselves. All right, thank you. Julie, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Gribble.
Here.
Mr. Richard.
Here.
Mr. Strickler.
Here.
Mr. Watkins.
Here.
Mr. Weber.
Here.
Mr. Woodmansey.
I'd like a motion to excuse Mr. Woodmansey from tonight's meeting. Mr. Strickler makes the motion and Mr. Watkins seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Woodmansey is excused. Yes. Elected officials and Safety Service Director.
Mayor Satterfield.
Here.
Auditor Wade.
Here.
Director of Law Bear.
Here.
Treasurer Pittman.
Here.
Safety Service Director Ward.
Here.
I'm not included in it.
Okay. I don't know.
I'm just wondering.
It's assumed that you are.
President Fellner.
Thanks.
You didn't say here.
Just an acknowledgement.
Okay. All right. Add to my list.
First item on, first of all, before you have the agenda for the regular council meeting tonight. If there are no additions or
Well,
corrections.
we do have, we have the minutes first.
Of course. So we have two sets of minutes that we need to take care of. Last regular meeting of 2025. If there are no corrections or comments, I'd like a motion to accept the minutes as presented from December 18th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Strickler makes the motion.
Second.
Mr. Weber seconds.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, and the regular meeting minutes from December 18th, 2025 are accepted. Second under that heading is the special meeting minutes of January 6th, 2026, our organizational meeting. There are no corrections. Then Mr. Weber makes the motion to pass. Mr. Gribble seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and the minutes for the special meeting of January 6th are accepted. Second item is the agenda approval. You said we do have.
Right, the thing that has a star on it down there in the agenda,
Yes.
that has to be added to the agenda when it has a star.
Okay.
That might have been changed.
To add number 2026-2 to the agenda.
Mr. Weber makes the motion to add ordinance 2026-2.
I second that.
Mr. Brown seconds. Is that a roll call?
Yes. Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Gribble,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Strickler,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries, and ordinance 2026-2 is added to the agenda. Now back up to the approval. I'd like a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Make a motion to approve.
Mr. Watkins makes the motion, and Mr. Richard seconds.
That's all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and the amended agenda is approved. Under item 3, we do have a citizen that wishes to address council. Since this is the first time this will happen, I'm just going to briefly go over the rules as for our benefit.
Yeah.
So ideally, we want speaker forms at the end to be filled out ahead of time. We'd like to
stand and move to the microphone.
Well, yeah, we don't have,
I
so,
just-
like to the end of the table, yeah, so I can pick her up on the camera, or if she scoots on down by that camera, that will pick you up.
Wherever.
Yeah, so,
I don't care whether I'm in the camera or
That
not.
was
well, I need to pick up your voice anyway, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Is this good or you want me down here?
yeah, closer to a camera would be good, so,
All right.
yeah, that's good, thank you.
We will have her give her name and address, specifics on suggestions to council or requests of council. Limit remarks to no more than 5 minutes. Address your remarks to the whole council through me. We're going to try and avoid engaging in debates around the table. Obviously, the council is going to participate, as necessary. And then after your remarks, I'll recognize any council members that want to address questions or further comments. So this evening, Louise Brucci, could you tell us your address, please?
9045 State Route 19, Galion.
Very good. And what would you like to address council?
I have two concerns about the east side of town. The street, I realize that we've had a lot of issues with having to dig up, and I'm talking about from East Street down mostly. Everything has been fixed and paved over, but it's like this. You're going up and down and it's a bumpy road, both sides. One side's worse than the other, but both sides are. I just want to know what the plan is for fixing that. I know that we have recently paved some of the streets. No attention has been given to that, and I know it takes time, but again, it's the east end, and I know some people never go to the east end. I travel through the east end every day, several trips. I was raised in the north end. I think the north end is the best, but I'm prejudiced. But
Are you referring to Harding Way East?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. When you go out of town on Harding Way,
Right.
going east, that street is atrocious, both sides. And my second concern is, again, on the east end, when you get to Dollar General, from there on down, where the old Kobe building is, it's a junkyard for tractor trailers and there's a tanker that looks like it's been wrecked. And they're all lined up, clear down, almost to where First Street comes out and comes into Harding Way, all along behind those houses. I realize those houses aren't all in the best condition, but why should they have to look at all of those tractor trailers? And I see there is also an semblance of, and maybe there's some plan for some other work to be done. There's piles of construction stuff, gravel, whatever, sand. There's several piles of that. There's a tree that came down and it's been there for several months. Nobody's done anything to clean up that area. And I, for one, if I lived in the East End and lived on Harding Way, I'd be upset that that was in my backyard. I'm upset now and I don't live there. I just think that it needs to be cleaned up, it needs to be addressed. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Mickey, do we have a timeline on Harding Way? Is that going to be repaired after this? So is that still contingent on we're getting redone after the digging or not?
I think what she's referring to is where that storm sewer project was done.
I think so.
Those patches were put in, it's settled, so we'll have to just take another look at it, because the patches were put in.
Okay.
I don't know what she said.
So this is where there was a storm,
Yes, a lot of it. I thought for some reason, I thought part of it was gas lines as well, but maybe not.
No, there was a big,
A lot of the
there was a
storms.
big water line, storm area that was
Yes.
dug up, and some of
Yes.
that is settled now, so, probably won't be until the spring when it thaws out, because I don't think there's any
But it
reason.
was already settled and they paved, patched in.
Sure,
But it's like this in some places. It's awful.
don't disagree.
Drive down there.
I do. Thank you.
Also, I think we all feel the same about the front yards of, our neighbors. And I'm not exactly sure how to legislate that or what it is that we need to do. But I agree with you that it's a big concern in my neighborhood, as well as other places. Just to, Mr. Watkins was talking last week about just how the town looks, and if we want businesses to locate here, or if we want people that live here to open a small business, it makes it more difficult, for sure.
People coming into town from that direction have a great impression.
Precisely. Thank you.
And I wouldn't want those tractor trailers in my backyard.
Do we know who owns the property?
It's the old Sauter Brothers. Sauter Brothers used to own it, and now I wrote it down in Noble, trying to figure out what's going on with it. That
Is
was
it still in probate then?
I'm not sure where it's at, but I think it was the Sauter Brothers property. That big warehouse with a white building in the back and that stuff.
So does that give them the right to have those tractor trailers there?
I'm gonna check and see what's going on. You're talking about private property and what they can and can't do, and most of the stuff was not out there. I mean, there was some old tractor trailers there for a long, long time. But I've got the address, I know exactly what property you're looking at, we'll try to find out.
I mean, they're lined up and it seems like there's more and more of them lately. But they're all, both sides, there's like a driveway that goes through back there, and on both sides, they're lined up side by side, probably as far as they can go.
Okay.
Wondering if it's zone commercial, which I'm assuming that it is, maybe we could work with the property owner about some type of fencing or something because I don't know, if it's zone commercial and those trucks are their business.
It's not the trucks, it's trailers.
Right, but if the trailers are their business, then maybe there's a way to wall it off somehow so you don't have to look at it, because I don't know if it's properly zoned, it may be difficult to have things removed if it's part of their business.
Junkyard,
We'll look into it. I promise.
thank you.
Thanks, Louise. Item 4, first bit of legislation, resolution number 2025-18 is a third reading from last term.
Resolution number 2025-18, entitled "A Resolution Approving the Reappointment of Amanda Moran to the Galion City Health Board as appointed by the city mayor and declaring an emergency."
You said reappointing? Okay.
Yeah, reappointment, yes.
Could I have a motion to pass 20?
Oh, sorry, you're right. It's the third reading. My bad. That was my mistake.
Resolution to pass, motion to pass resolution 2025-18.
I make a motion. to
Mr.
pass.
Watkins makes the motion, Mr. Strickler seconds. Discussion? Eric, do you want to share anything?
I was just gonna say that Amanda was excited about the opportunity to sit on this board, and I think that she'll do a great job. She's got experience in this realm, and so I think it's a good fit.
Roll call?
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Strickler,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Gribble,
Yes.
Mr. Richard.
Yes.
The resolution number 2025-18 passes on the third reading. Next item of business is ordinance number 2026-2.
Ordinance number 2026-2, entitled Ordinance Authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and to enter into contracts with the lowest and best bidders, therefore, according to law, for the purchase of certain materials and equipment required and needed for the operation of the various departments of the City of Galion, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
I'd like a motion to put resolution 2026-2 on the table. Mr. Weber?
We'll just do some discussion. Okay, if we could. I just want to say that this is something that goes out the first of every year. This is mostly to, like Ms. Bell mentioned, to allow the bidding process to begin on a number of things that we've budgeted for from the 2025 budget, and it was voted onto the agenda tonight, so it didn't sit in the council, but it's a very routine thing that they can't start their processes of getting the bids out until we do. So there is a bit of a need to pass this tonight as an emergency. Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Ward, sorry. Any comments?
No, this just allows us to buy all of the necessary operating supplies, full match, chemicals, uniforms, you name it. As Eric said, we do this every year.
So I'd like to call for a motion to suspend the rules and proceed to the final reading on 2026-2. Mr. Weber makes the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Gribble seconds. Roll call?
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mr. Gribble,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Strickler,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes. The motion passes to suspend the rules and proceed to the final reading. I'd like a motion to pass ordinance 2026-24. Mr. Strickler makes the motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Brown seconds. Roll call?
Mr. President,
I'm sorry.
Discussion.
you said 2026-24.
I'm sorry. I'm
Did I?
several meetings ahead of myself.
I just want
Ordinance 2026-2.
Okay, so did I make a mistake?
Just fine.
Phew.
I just wanted to make sure, for the record, that is.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. We have a motion on the floor. Roll call, please.
Mr. Strickler,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Gribble,
Yes.
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
The ordinance passes, and we are on already to other business.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I wanted to bring up to everybody and the members here, council has a member that attends the design and review meetings as a representative of this council. It is a voting position. I've been doing that for a while, but my question to the members is maybe we should have some new blood on it. Not to say I'm in bad blood, but, so I just like to bring that up as a discussion.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a good idea. Maybe somebody that's on the economic development board would make most sense to me. I can't remember who those folks are, but that just makes sense to me.
Yourself, me, and Mr. Watkins.
I agree. And I think that we should think, you know, I mean, a decision doesn't need to be made this evening.
It'll have to be done by, or I'll have to do a resolution,
Right.
so,
So
if you wanna
you've
put
got-
that in the committee,
If you have some, I'm sorry,
we can put that in the committee.
yes, for next Wednesday?
Yep.
Good idea.
Sounds like a plan.
Maybe if you could share with the group what that entails.
As I mentioned, go to the meetings as scheduled. You are a participant with that, and you are there to represent council in that regard. I know you're one vote, okay? So, and I know there's been a lot of issues in the fairly recent history in regard to the design review. I didn't always agree with what was finally voted for, but again, I think it's important. I think it's important that we have a design review. So I think it's also important that we as a body should have some type of representation. And to the point of, my opinion is, if there's anybody that's interested sitting around this table, by all means, I would let council president know.
How often are the meetings? Time commitment?
Usually it's only once a month, but it is kind of a random thing right now because it's usually more used as if they have an application. Because what happens is they come, somebody just wants to do something in the different areas of our community that design review covers. So they submit an application, go through the process, and come to them to design review to be looked at. And
It's like an HOA, but in a sense, HOAs are established on multi-million-dollar developments to keep them from becoming dilapidated. But we also see that our uptown and the back alleys and the back of these buildings are falling down. I don't deem it necessary to have a design review board. What's the purpose of an HOA for something that's falling apart, right? So it hasn't served its purpose, and in fact, the last 30, 40 years it's failed us because it didn't hold to a standard. Even though we had the argument about the siding, right, about the siding on the Elks, up on the square, the siding on the side of that building is vinyl, which their rules were there's not supposed to be any vinyl. And apparently that passed years ago too. Hold on. So it's a bit hypocritical, and I don't think it's necessary, and I think we could go about this another way. Maybe get the Historical Society involved if we're talking about historical integrity. But as far as dictating material and the process of the construction, I don't believe that that's necessary. There are professionals that do that for a living. That's fine. But I don't think we should have someone dictate everybody's little move for a building they don't own or pay tax on. So if I own something, I'll be darned if someone's going to tell me what I can and can't do with the thing that I bought to create revenue, right? So, and this is exactly the problem with it. It's become a hindrance on most of the businesses uptown, and they have grand ideas for improvements. But now they're tied to this small, narrow guidance that they can't expand and they can't do anything different. And I think it's a chokehold and it's about control, and it's not about helping. It's about control, and I think it needs to disappear.
well, I'm not here to defend.
No, I understand, yeah, you're trying to find someone to fill the seat,
No,
but this was a discussion, so.
I think this is in my mind, beyond what we're actually talking about is putting somebody on that board as it stands now. The design review was created by ordinance, so what we as a body, if we feel that that needs to be changed in some way, modified in some way, some way communities have a different format for design review, okay? So I think that's a discussion that should be made through in the committee that can be determined by
Wasn't
the
ordinance at the
president.
time?
Well, again, that's determined by the president of the council, but the important thing is, that's a discussion we as a body and as a community should be talking about, okay?
I think in the short term, I agree with you, Mr. Richard, we do need to have a representative on the design review in the short term. Probably not myself. I actually served on design review, and I think I voted against everything that everybody on design review voted for in every vote we ever had. So I also agree with Mr. Strickler that probably at some point we do need to bridge these discussions on design review and decide whether it's amended or ended situation. But in my view, my personal view, it has to be one or the other. I love the idea of restoring historical storefronts. Love it. And I agree with Mr. Strickler that the Galion History Center is a wonderful resource. They have photos dating back to the beginning of all these buildings, and we can do all sorts of wonderful things to encourage the historical integrity of the storefronts. But I do think we need to get out of the building material business. I think we need to worry a whole lot less about backs and sides of buildings. And I know for a fact I can list the names of businesses we've lost in Galion because of design review.
Again, I think you're preaching to the choir, Mike, you know, and I do think that is a good topic for a committee because it's, you know, legislative action.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to go about it. It's not a all in favor, raise your hand kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
but completely agree. I think, and that's a big step for all the years that design and review. I mean, even this discussion tonight was a big step.
Right, and I know, and change is scary, right? And I've had this discussion with many people in town, and it's, you know, and if you give something drastic, it's, well, oh my gosh, we've been doing this way for so long. It's like, well, maybe it's ran its course. You know what I mean? It's time to try something else. And if you don't try, and how do you know it would work or if it fails? So I think we need to move on from that. But if we could send it to a committee, that'd be great. Maybe have a discussion.
Yeah, so the first step is going to appoint a member.
Yes.
Right, because we're going to participate in the being as it is currently. And future committees can be using to amend how it acts, the ordinance, things like that. So, you know, just our first step, get some new blood on that committee.
Young blood, right?
Thanks, man.
I was
He didn't say that. He didn't say that.
I would think young blood, as opposed to old blood, is better than bad blood.
I appreciate it. Hey, that's all right. I keep telling my daughter, I'm older than dirt. So it's like, we're good.
If I can weigh in, I would like to see it go to committee before there's any rational or irrational discussion. I think discussing design review, and I think if you go back in the last 6 months, that's been a hot topic. And taking into account to the committee and reviewing the current ordinance as it stands, the guidelines that and the restrictions or what is being used for them to make the decisions is looked at, and can that be tweaked or amended so that it is more reasonable and feasible. I'm all for keeping the historical value, and I also think that there needs to be the ability to have efficient and affordable remedies to the business solutions. And I think that's where we're missing the boat. And if we can blend that, then I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to keep. What we don't want is anybody doing whatever they can or want to do with the buildings, and I don't think anybody wants that.
No.
But making it a process that we can move forward and enhance and make the uptown look better, that's the direction we need to go with. And I would suggest when we decide which committee goes into, whether it's economic development or laws and ordinances, depending upon which direction you want to go, and certainly that it's an ordinance that makes a lot of sense, invite some members from the design review that are on the board currently so that they can give you their perspective of what's going on. what has worked, what hasn't worked. And then we can make a reasonable decision as to where we want to go forward. But I think giving it an opportunity to get workable before we just abolish it or we think about abolishing it, I think that's the right step to go with, so that we just don't make a decision to go and move on with life.
If I'm, regardless of the merits of what council thinks about, first off, I would say when it goes to committee, I'd invite Mr. Brown. I think he'll speak to you at some length, and I think it'd be worth hearing from him at the very least. In addition, I think this is one that should go through committee. I would strongly recommend to council, this should be a 3 readings ordinance, that this is not a suspend the rules and pass it quickly. I think and I think everyone's saying that it's a measured response, that what you guys want to do should be thought through with a lot of input, because I think it'll be a significant shift, whatever direction you go. And this is one worth taking the time on it, as opposed to a lot of other things that should just move along.
Agreed.
Natural next step to me just seems that we need to decide who might be on the board in the committee.
And that will be on the agenda for
Did you say economic development for that one?
I think that would be a good one for this first step.
Yeah. For that one.
Laws and ordinance
Maybe for the other.
for future, but
Okay.
for the appointment, and
Okay.
that would be a good idea. Any other business? All right. Item 6 on the agenda is reports. Ms. Wade, do you have anything?
Yeah, it's been busy. We balanced out December, closed out the year. We got the first payroll done, working on 1099 forms, W-2s, and requisitions. So it's been a very, very busy, short period here.
Sure.
The staff's been wonderful to work with. We work well together. The treasurer and I gone around to the banks to get her on the signature cards, and we're working on lots of other little loose ends with getting the transition done as far as the banking relationships and investments and things. So I'm pleased. It's been busy, but it's going real well.
Good.
I did want to bring up one thing that's not auditor's office stuff, and it has to do with the utilities. And the reason I'm bringing it up, and some of you know I'm an old timer, old as dirt. Keith reminded me he went to school with my son, so I'm going to have to acknowledge that. But anyway, I served on council 10 years. I was auditor previously for 4 years. Law director for a 7-month stint. But one of the things that I've seen over the years is different way to handle the committees. And I'm really concerned about the utility committee because you're starting out behind, you're starting out with a lot of problems, and there is a learning curve. And so one of the things that council did do in the past was we would have committees of the whole that would meet. And that would allow you all to participate. You could all get the same amount of information at the same time. You can do that different ways. Over the years, we've had committee of the whole meet at 6 and have a council meeting at 7. But I just feel like this is an all hands on deck situation. And it's going to be a lot of work. And I think it'd be great if everybody pitched in and not limited to the 3-person committee. So that's just a suggestion for what it's worth.
And you're referring specifically to utility committee and
Yes.
utility issues and things like that?
Yes, I mean, there's a giant amount of issues there.
Sure.
There's a big learning curve. And it's not just one utility, it's water, sewer, electric. And, now we're having to be careful about how the committees function. And it's 3 people can participate, nobody else can.
Right.
And I just feel like I said, it's an all hands on deck situation. So I'm just throwing that out there for consideration. And we have done it in the past.
Yet usually it's been restricted, I won't say if that's the correct word, but the usual budget time, end of the year, third quarter, or, but I think, starting off the year is a good idea with that. And utilities have always been hot button topic for a lot of years.
A lot of years,
I think that is a good idea.
There's a lot of work there.
And then everyone, as you said, gets to participate in a committee meeting. So that's good.
But anyway, I also want to say,
Yes.
Brian left me with a really nice office and a really nice staff. I have to thank you for that. Because the staff it's an excellent staff. And I was fortunate when I was auditor before. I also had an excellent staff then. So.
Yeah,
All right.
Met them all this week, so they've been very helpful as me transitioning into city government. So, yeah, good group of people down there.
Next, Ms. Pittman, for Treasury report, anything?
Just exactly what Roberta said. We've just been very busy in the transition. She's been helping me out a lot, becoming the treasurer, banking, lots of hours that we put in together. She's been very helpful. And again, the staff is fabulous. Absolutely helpful and great.
Good to hear. And Mr. Bear.
Okay. We're trying to make this kind of a,
Hold on.
oh, Mr. Bear. I said Bear. Bear, Mayor.
Director of Law, Bear.
So one of those things I have to do every year per statute is give you guys a rough annual report. So I just done that for tonight. I won't read through the whole thing, but it gives roughly a summary of the criminal and traffic cases. I address those now through the Muni Court. You guys know this functions as the court on Tuesdays. So every week, Tuesday mornings, pretty much straight criminal and traffic cases. Everything ranging from minor disorderly conduct and speeding tickets up through domestic violence and drunk driving are two of the ones that come up that are probably two of the most serious that we regularly deal with. Working on that every week. We also get some thefts, and victims are crying through that as well. Jim Scott works as a victim advocate for us as well as for the county. He attached the report, he gave me his report, kind of a summary of the victims he's been able to help. Particularly with Marcy's Law and the Constitutional Amendment several years ago and some of the statutes. It's important to have somebody who can do that, reach out and address that. It also kind of helps sometimes when things overlap with the county, having him wear both hats and do some of the back and forth. I end up advising, as you know, boards, officials. I ultimately, similar to yourselves, I represent the city. Some of you will have questions, but in the grand scheme, I represent the entity, the city itself, more than any of the individuals, but I end up giving advice and working on issues with individual council members and other parts of the city. I gave a few litigation, noted some of the major cases last year. Several of those have resolved, and I went through a couple of the either larger or odder ones I've been dealing with over the past year and ongoing. If there's any major questions, we have one of the contracts, continued work with the EPA and through specialized counsel on that. Sometimes it just matters. No attorney does everything. And there's some attorneys who just spend their entire career doing one or two very specialized things. So sometimes it's more valuable to get somebody who knows the inner workings of that system, knows those statutes inside and out, and get a specialist. So just sometimes there'll be requests for that. Any attorney who tells you they're going to do every kind of matter is frankly blowing smoke or just going to, or they're going to do bad work. They believe they can do everything. I do have federal court admission, so I do jump on some of those things myself, but there's a certain point where it gets specialized counsel. I do a lot of bankruptcy work, mostly creditor stuff here and there, so I've managed to do some of that without having to need outside counsel. You can have a case, like I said, I mentioned the one out of southern Texas where I got pro hoc DJ just so I could watch and help deal with the utility claim. And for the most part, it says talk about monies I collect. I really don't directly collect money. The court does that out of the criminal cases. And when they can't, they send it through a contract. I actually helped set up that contract back when I was a staff attorney for Muni, back in the late 2010s. They send it through the Attorney General for collections, and we do collect money every year. State tax refund intercepts some of the local funds and things, but I don't directly do that. Like I said, I know in my report, I'll let Chief Strange explain it more later, but I did forfeit a vehicle from an OBI that I believe the police are going to be using and taking. So basically, once you get so many OBIs, if you keep drunk driving, if it's your vehicle, you're forfeiting it for stop drunk driving. And if you're 30 and 10, something's wrong. Anything else for Council President?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
I guess, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor. For the mayor's report, if he wants to.
My apologies. Leaf pickup, we haven't forgot about leaf pickup. We talked with the superintendent, and they were getting ready to go out the other day, this morning.
They were out late last week, I think.
The axle on the leaf picker broke. So that should be, the part should be here tomorrow, and they're hoping it is repaired by Friday and back out, and we haven't forgot about it. So, yeah, we are aware, and with the weather, hopefully it holds true. We'll get back out there and get those. Been working on appointments to different committees that had some openings and vacancies. You'll have some more for the health department, reappointing people just to make sure that those are on board. But the other side of it is, if there are people out there that feel like they could help or are willing to help and want to serve on a committee, there's an application process on our website. You can fill that out, and it gets emailed directly into the city, and we can have that on file. So if there's openings, currently there's an opening on the freeze board. There are openings on the Port Authority board, and so we're looking for people that want to serve and fill in those spots. So if you have an interest, either reach out to us, reach out to a council member that can get a hold of me, or get online on our website, fill out the application, and we'll take a look at it and make a phone call and see what your interest is. We talked about it's been talked about for a while, the staffing issues. Good news is we have interviews set up for next week for the wastewater treatment plant. Get that filled, that will start helping the domino effect to allow internal transfers and or new hires for the service department and getting those. So that has been a priority one of the priorities to get started at the beginning of the year, and Nikki has really worked hard to get those. We've got the applications, we've got the interviews set up, and that's moving forward. So help is on the way, we certainly hope so. Lastly, Friday, notice from ODOT. We were awarded $6.5 million in grants to repair the overpass. It's an 80-20 plan. It's the biggest grant. That was something that was presented by Nikki and ex-Mayor O'Leary. I went down with them to Columbus in December. We were notified in January. This is fiscal year 29, so it's not tomorrow, but it is an 80-20 plan or payment. So of a $7.7 million project, there's $6.5 million is out there. We have a couple of years to get started with how we're going to fund this, how we're going to do this. We think that some of the engineering monies might be available by end of the year this year to start that process. So that is great news. We have a meeting tomorrow with the depot. I think it's tomorrow on depot is the update on what's going on there. We have meetings set up for a water treatment plant and where the cleanup or the punch list, if you will. That's Friday. So things are moving in the right direction. Still trying to feel my way. So, but it's been fun, and stop up and see me. Any questions?
Is that a complete replacement?
It's replacing the deck.
It's replacing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the overpass by the depot over the tracks.
Church Street overpass.
Yeah.
It's
That's bad.
It's to replace the deck. So be prepared when it happens. We're going to have an alternate route because you just can't build a temporary overpass on Harding Way. But you shoot, this is something that is desperately needed. design, potentially would have a sidewalk across it, and,
Oh, that'd be great.
so, yeah, we're gonna get with our engineer and a couple tweaks that ODOT wanted us to look at, I think, and we're gonna take a look at that, but, you know, we've got a couple years to come up with $1.3 million. That's our share.
We could fund it with an easy pass.
Okay. Don't stick with that. It was just
A thought.
Mayor Satterfield said it'll cost you money to cross the overpass. No, he did not. No, he did not.
I know that project's down the road, but what about, I mean, we all know the trains like to stop in the middle of town, it's great. What about emergency services on the other end of town? Will that be addressed, or?
Yeah, that's part of the plan, and I know that was, it's already been discussed, but it's not necessarily setting up a building per se. You know, that in the day, Eastside Fire Station would have been perfect, but, you know, there would have to be contingencies for that. Yeah, so knowing, if there are issues, and that's something we'd have to work with the fire and the police department to make sure that there's staging, if you will, on one side or the other. Yeah, that's all in the big plan that we have to look at, so.
Is that building occupied by somebody else?
No, we still own it, it's just not usable. It's been for sale for years.
Oh, it's been a long time.
We've tried to sell it. I think some electric equipment. Yeah. But it's, yeah.
I wonder, so we have a mutual aid contract with Polk Township, right? And they have a building on the east side right across from Craig Smith. I wonder if Polk Township, being that we provide mutual aid, would work with us with that
I think
nice facility they have there.
those are all some of the inner workings that would have to be dealt with, you know, making sure that we have plans so that if there are trains, yeah. That is, I mean, it cut us off, but we're certainly going to have that in the process, and emergency services, whether it's not just fire or EMS, but police as well. So.
If I may, I think this underscores how good of a win this is. We're discussing how important and vital this overpass is to our town. And the truth is, if some of the older council members have heard this prior, you know, basically we got told by the federal courts that the trains can block up, sit as long as they want, pretty much give us the finger, and there's nothing we can do about it. Right. The state Supreme Court, and I admit in a split decision, I think he's totally correct, basically affirmed that in the last couple of years. There's just nothing the locals can do about it, and it's frustrating, but it's why we need that overpass functioning, and it's so critical for a good chunk of town. I mean, if you're on the south end of 61 and that train just stops, the only way you can get to the hospital, which would be about a minute away, is to go all the way down the other side of town, get up over the overpass and come over. And if that's not there, I mean, one of the real answers will be if there's a train blocking everything and the overpass is out, and it's eventually going to wear down, you're practically going to Mansfield or Ontario faster than you're getting to a hospital in town. So I think this is a big win and a big gain to get that repaired and well functioning.
Let's just be cautious that we're not putting out that, oh dear Lord, this is going to be a good thing for the overpass, and now we have problems with that. So those are issues that we worked out. I don't want to.
Well, it's good that it's 2029.
Correct.
You know,
So we have time to work out the plan. Outside of that,
anything else?
Any updates on the Clay Street project progress that we've made there from monies that were funded last year coming into this year?
A few things, probably the first, there were 4 tenants with contracts. 2 of them have, I think one of them 2 of them are basically paying, one of them is basically vacated, but I'm working on it. And the other one, I just got the 3-day notice served on it, I believe today or yesterday. The chief sent them to me. Sorry, I had like 40 some emails, and I plan to look at that a little bit more tomorrow. So one of the evictions on one of the active problems basically is being done. He's probably going to prison. So I'm working on that. There's a process. I know getting that done was basically the first step. Then getting the complaint together, I got to know when basically when the books are open, we can start writing checks for the deposit and start chasing some of those. But we've looked at some other options short of having to go to court and file evictions. And every time we get kind of close, it basically kept coming back to that. Some of the answer I'm going to have to use more than I was hoping. And it's a matter of how many can be filed at a time. So dealing with the one those two in particular were a little bit higher on the list. So starting to work on those. There will be more flowing. And there's an upper limit to how I can only file so many cases at a time and get so many before the court at a time. I'll even go so far. Part of my logic was we had to file another thing on an unrelated eviction. With Mayor O'Leary having been the former mayor, it created a conflict and a problem for the court because the magistrate was the son of the mayor, and if the mayor is the plaintiff, it created additional hurdles for the court that are no longer present in the new year. So that was a part of my calculation of not putting too much stress on the court and too many conflicts until after knowing that wasn't going to be the case come January.
Thank you. Good. Yes, sir.
Do we have it looks like at least the tower has been down and things have moved away on the road. Is there an update on, is that complete? Do we know? Do we have any?
Yeah,
We have the bells.
the bells are in the street department. They're gonna get shrink wrapped and stored out there. The road's open. The Port Authority has a meeting tomorrow at 5, so I'll go to that and we'll get an idea of what the wrap up is. I know the next phase is doing a little patchwork on the sanctuary roof, I believe, but
Where does the Port Authority meet?
Chamber of Commerce,
Okay.
5 o'clock.
5.
So, to touch on Clay Street, council authorized $50,000 of CBG money last year. We have not gotten word from the state yet if that's an authorized expense. So while it's budgeted, that money has not been earmarked yet, but there was also $50,000 from the general fund that was put into the Clay Street Fund, and that is available for use. And there have been conversations about Clay Street already this year about where we are and what we're going to do to move forward. So that's slow and methodical.
Mr. President, I had one other thing.
Certainly.
In the past, there was a group of individuals that was using the bed tax money that was available, and that has since not been together. So I didn't know if maybe it was, since this is the beginning of the year and a lot of folks are new, if it would be good to talk a little bit about that and how that money's spent, what kind of group might be available to use it.
Funny you mentioned that.
Funny you mentioned.
I got a message in for the executive director of the Ohio Association of Conventions and Visitors Bureau, Columbus. Got a message for him to call me back to find out how that can be utilized. Can we set up our own Convention and Visitors Bureau? Does it have to be a nonprofit? Is it an entity outside of that? I'm going to ask all those questions. There's been some discussion already about a current organization in town maybe taking that over. Can that happen? So yes, that is on my desk, and I'm waiting for a phone call back to get some of those answers. There's $121,000 sitting there for Convention and Visitors Bureau.
But do you mean like an organization that would use the money for things, not to build a convention?
It's to use.
Economic
The Ohio Revised Code sets out criteria of what Convention and Visitors Bureaus can do is promote, advertise, promote, purchase. I mean, there's a lot of things that they're able to do with those funds. Again, if you're not aware of how that works, we get the bed tax from the local hotels, motels. The general fund gets half of that. The other half is earmarked by ordinance to go to Fund 901. So when you get your reports, if you look at Fund 901, that's where the money's at. And the only expense currently that's set up for that is basically a transfer or to write a check from that Fund 901 to the organization. That was experienced Galion. There's criteria set up, so on my desk, if you went down there now, the 2018 contract with Experienced Galion is sitting there along with my notes that I wrote with that and the phone number for the executive director from down there. So, been working on trying to get that set up so that we have a means to have somebody try to promote Galion and get people to come into town. A lot of different ideas. So, good. You must have been on my desk and seen this one. No, I sat with Nikki today and it's a little sheet of paper and I have it says to-dos list and I'm at like 13 and we spent like 5 minutes. So I'm slowly figuring out what the mayor does and it's tasks.
Yes, sir, Mr. Glover?
Does anybody have anything else? If not,
Well,
oh, you got your report.
One thing,
I'm sorry, I skipped over that.
I feel your pain.
I thought that was.
Attendance wasn't called with my name, and now this disrespect.
I'll fix it.
The only
I
thing-
guess he's not familiar with the function of the president of council.
I just want to make sure that everyone got the reports from that the auditor's office and the treasurer signed. We got an email. We didn't go over those specifically. Just wanted to make sure we all got those. Take a look at them. A lot of good ideas tonight. Appreciate it. Good vibe in the room, right? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I could
Mr.
just-
Weber, I think.
If I could
I'm
just
sorry.
add one more thing. Thank you to the citizens that came out tonight. I've been coming to council meetings since August, and it's usually 2 or 3 people. And you guys are hearing the enthusiasm, just as Mr. President said. And I would encourage more people online as you're watching, please come out to these meetings, express concerns so we can address them. Because if we don't hear it, we can't fix it. So we need to know where the concerns are and the strategies we need to take to make it happen. So thank you for coming tonight.
Mr. Weber made the motion for adjournment.
I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Gribble seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
7:57.
Adjourned.